And we are now live. Hey guys, and welcome back. And today I'm interviewing. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's gonna say it for me. So how do you pronounce your name?
Suriya.
Suriyo.
Yeah.
Suriyo. I'm interviewing Suriyo, and he recently dropped his album. He talks about YouTube boxing sometimes, and
hmm
so tell me, just tell me about your album and like what inspired you to create it, and just yeah, tell me about it.
So first, I want to thank you for inviting me on this, on the show.
Yeah,
Like I appreciate it a lot.
you're welcome.
And so also, I want to say, yeah, okay, we should get gowns. So the album first created like about like 5 months ago. So I was always gonna drop an album, but like 5 months ago, I don't really know like what I was gonna do, if you know what I mean. Like I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna make an album, but like it ain't gonna be like good, or it's not gonna be like, it's not gonna be like up there. So I was like, I'm just gonna work on it, and until I found some like good songs that I could make, that I could produce, I'm gonna drop it. And I mean, it all worked in at the end of the day, because like I worked hard for it. Like 5 months straight dedication of just album. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I
yeah.
definitely showed off because the mixing was really good. It
Thank
sounded
you,
like a
bro.
professional album in a lot of ways.
Thank, thank you, bro. Thank you. That actually means a lot.
Is you plan to like go into music or like because I know you also like to box too. So
Mm.
and you got a boxing tournament coming up. But what are your aspirations for like YouTube and social media? Because you seem to be like all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. Like you got it. You exactly got it. Like, this is gonna be sound so like, oh, I'm Kiss. I love Kiss, but I'm not him. Like,
Yeah.
this is quite what I love to do. It's like, if I like think about it, if I just stick to like one thing, I don't like to do that. I like to explore different kind of things. Like, I could get bored of easy. So, for example, like if I just posted YouTube vids. For example, 2020, I was just focusing on YouTube and boxing. So I was like grinding out. And you know what? It did quite a lot for me, because Adam Solly reacted to me, Ryan Sways, a lot of people like these kind of names like mentioned me and like saw me and gave me a shout out. So
Yeah.
that means a lot. Like when I grind something and I make sure I produce it well, so like you see the results coming in.
Yeah. You have like a podcast. You do
Y-
like a lot of different things.
y-
Is there like one
Yeah,
thing that you like doing the most out of all of these things?
100% boxing. 100 boxing has like I've always done it for the longest ever, like longest time. Always done this and I always do it. I just love the thing, and like every time there's training, like there's excitement for it. I know I'm gonna work harder, and I know I'm getting better each and each day.
Yeah. So you're in a boxing tournament. So why don't you like talk about what's that about?
So yeah, so right now, yeah, the plan might be this month if I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it's this month. But my coach is having a hard time finding someone in my weight division,
Yeah.
and my skill, yeah, my age. So it's a bit mixed up, but coach told me this month. So let's just hope. Let's just hope for the best. Let's hope I get it. And if I do, there is a live stream for it, which I'm going to mention it when it's official. Yeah, that's what I'm meant to say, when it's official.
That's really cool. Um, sorry. Out of like, so you obviously cover YouTube boxing, sometimes.
Yeah.
So like, what
hmm
do you think of what do you think is the state of YouTube boxing right now? Because I have my own opinions, but like, what do you think of it? Obviously, we had Tommy Fury and Jake Paul's press conference
Yeah.
yesterday, which was not really a press conference because Tommy Fury wasn't there. But
hmm I mean, the state of YouTube boxing right now, it doesn't really feel like YouTube boxing, if you know what I mean. It feels more like Jake Paul and his Showtime, and feels like just
yeah,
him doing something. It doesn't feel like um YouTube anymore. More feels like perfect. They're like, all right, like we're done with this like cordy stuff. I'm gonna focus on actual boxers, actual MMA fighters. And like Jake is moving on. I feel like I mean, it's still entertaining because it's Jake at the end of the day. Like
yeah,
if he loses, I'll be happy. I'll be smiling through the veins of me. But I mean,
yeah, same.
he just keeps on smashing every single opponent that he
Yeah.
has. I mean, good for him, but like, like it's just not YouTube boxing anymore. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely think it's more of like just him because he's the only one that's really doing it at the current moment. But I think it's getting a little stale, honestly. I feel like there's so much of it that's kind of not getting special anymore. And it's like whenever he's talking and he's calling out like Canelo or making bets with Tommy Fury, that used to be interesting, but now it's kind of like dull. Like who
Is it
cares
old?
about it?
You know, like it's definitely old. Like it's got like even for the Tommy Fury press conference yesterday. What I didn't see anything. Like I just saw he wrote a poem. I'm not sure a poem. Like you guys correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it was a
That's it. It
poem.
wasn't entertaining or anything. It was just like same old thing, Jake, and that's it. You know.
Yeah, and I think the reason why these events shouldn't happen too often is because they get dull. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah,
like
yeah,
KSI versus Logan Paul to KSI versus Logan Paul 2 was over a year and a half wait. So when it came back, everyone was like, "Oh, we're so excited," and we haven't had this in so long. So I don't know. I think it should have ended after the second fight between them.
100%. I was gonna say like the fight that like truly made sense after that was probably Jake. After the Gibb versus Jake fight, that would have made sense. And after like Jake and Case, I should have stopped for a bit and then came back after like 2 years. But JJ is just focusing on music and his own stuff right now, so he doesn't really got that time for legit spending time on boxing.
Yeah. Like, do you think he'll ever come back to boxing?
100%. He ain't going anywhere. 100% he's coming back. But do you think, I personally think the Jake versus KSI fight is a longer way. It's like a stretch now. It's like a stretch. But I think KSI is going to come back. He's going to fight one of the YouTube Donnies. I don't think it's going to be Austin. Austin's in a lot of trouble right now. And by the way, sorry for my voice. I'm sick right now. So this is not how
Oh,
you
that's
guys
fine.
normally hear me. So yeah, Jay Z is definitely coming back, but it's the timing. The time has to just be right.
Yeah, I think KSI versus Jake Paul will happen. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's not gonna happen. It doesn't make sense anymore." And I'm like, "But it's gonna make so much money. Like if they announced that tomorrow, everyone would go crazy. Everyone would be talking. It
Yeah,
would, I think, rejuvenate the YouTube boxing scene, and it would actually be going back to YouTube boxing. And I still think it's a competitive fight. And I know that's a thing that's controversial to say because
exactly. Yeah,
Jake beat Tyron Woodley, he beat Ben Askren. I personally think the only real legit fight he's ever been in was against Tyron Woodley, and he almost lost that.
yeah,
He almost got knocked out. So, and there was so
exactly.
many holes that I'm like, I don't deny that Jake can't beat him because I think he can, but at the same time, I think that he is a very beatable person, and I think someone like KSI, who we don't know how good he's gotten since 2019, will do against him. So I still think it's a very even fight, and I think it'll be very
E-
entertaining.
ex- exactly. I feel like every opponent that Jake has, KSI could beat them
Yes.
easily, like the same amount
Yeah.
or easily, in my opinion. I think, and I feel like, oh, it's gonna be a hot take, but
Yeah.
like, how everyone says, oh, if JJ is just swinging for the fences, Jake is gonna knock him out, this and that. Personally, like, yes, Jake's shown us, but I think JJ's power and like the way that he wants it, I think as long as like he's good for the first 3 rounds, and after if JJ just scraps the way that he did versus Logan, I don't think it's gonna be that bad, to be honest. Because everyone said that in the first fight. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's down after JJ. Like he ain't gonna bounce back from this. Like it ain't gonna happen." Because like the first fight, oh, he got lucky. Like he got saved because Logan's gas was
Yeah.
trash. And look at them now; they're doing the same thing. Like for JJ's, just because he has more fights and he fought people lower than JJ doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think another thing that the misconception, the big thing is that KSI is only boxing ability is swinging. And if you look at any other fight that's not Logan, he's boxing. He's not swinging at all. And we don't know how much better he's gotten. And people are like, oh, well, that's how he fights. And that's more of like a mentality thing. Like he wants to go for the big knockout instead of breaking somebody down. But that's very fixable. It's not like Deontay Wilder, where that's just his style and you can't really fix that. But even when he fought Tyson Fury, like last month, that he still showed improvements going to the body more. So I think that that's a misconception that people should maybe not think about or should not like just instantly go to.
I mean, you're got that right on the spot. And I also, I was gonna say this. with JJ, and I feel like we all know this, like, or people that watch JJ is like, you guys should know, like, please, don't doubt this. And I know, like, almost 75% or like 80 more than ever, people are gonna, they're gonna doubt JJ once again, and as as soon as the fight days comes, they're gonna be like, "Oh, we was on JJ's side." Just like shut up. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, totally. Do you think KSI could beat Tyron Woodley?
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's a hot take. A lot of people will say no, but I promise you, I think he will. JJ is like, I think he's taller than Jake. If I'm not like,
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
KSI and Jake Paul are like the same height and weight, and KSI is actually taller than Tyron Woodley by like a good
Yeah,
chunk. So I think he would too, honestly. I mean, I think that
he
would be a
would.
hard fight for sure. But I think I mean because he kind of freezes up, Tyron Woodley just freezes up. So he might hurt him bad, but then not do anything about it. So yeah,
Exactly. Like that. Like so much people. I don't know. I just feel like everyone that Jake beats him, like JJ could beat. JJ could easily beat them.
yeah. Hmm.
I got a question for you. Do you think Gib could beat Jake right now? I'm saying, like, do you think Gib could beat him?
So I mean, obviously, Gibb improved so much since he fought Jake.
And
Like
I'm proud of him, bro. I
same.
love Gib. I
I
love
yeah,
him.
completely different fighter. Now actually boxing before he was just fighting. So I think would he beat Jake? No, but he would do a lot better because and the reason why I don't think he'll ever beat him is because there's a huge weight difference between them. And when Vidal was having an interview, he was like, "Yeah, the weight difference was a bit too much, and Gibb had to make weight and not be at his optimal weight." But I think even with his technique, I think Gibb would I think he'd give Jake more trouble. I still think he'd get knocked out because I think there's just too much power there, but I think it
Yeah.
would be a much better fight. And maybe Gibb could win, but I think I want to see him against other opponents before making that because he fought Taylor Holder, who was good, but he kind of didn't do anything. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would say this. I think it will go like all 6, 8 rounds. I just think Jake would drop him like 2 times or 1 time. I don't think I don't think Gib has power, to be honest. That's the thing.
no,
I don't
yeah.
like he has good conditioning, pace wise, he's good, but like at the end of the day, like you gotta have. What am I saying? But yeah, Gib is a good fighter. And that's it.
Yeah, totally. And Logan Paul might fight Mike Tyson. What are your thoughts on that? Because that's been a big story for quite a while.
Yeah, it has. I mean, I just a lot of people. I mean, I just think Logan's gonna win. I mean, Mike is just way too old now. Like the way that he fought Roy Jones. I mean, yo, don't get me wrong, he's a legend in the game, but like, I don't want Mike Tyson to fight Logan because like there's gonna be like, imagine getting beat by Logan Paul. Like, and people are gonna say, "Oh, that's the guy that got beaten by Logan Paul, like a YouTuber versus the pro." But like, everyone has to know, Mike Tyson ain't in his prime anymore. He's an old man. He's like 60 something. I'm not sure 50. I'm like 15 is 50. What am I saying?
Yeah, he's
55,
he's 50.
54.
Yeah,
Gotta yeah, you gotta like know that like you shouldn't put like a guy that's that old versus like Logan in his prime right now, probably.
I mean, I don't think there's any universe where Logan would win. Because I mean, if Floyd versus Logan was a real fight, he would have lost that because he got outpointed. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think that yes, Mike Tyson is older and he didn't knock out his last opponent when on the Jake versus Nate card, but I think that the difference. Like here's the thing, I've always like when Logan fought Floyd, I was like, no matter who he fights, I will say you might not win, but you're gonna do better than people think. So I don't think it's gonna be like a one like side traffic where like Logan's gonna get swamped because I think he is bigger than Mike and he does have a good way of stopping people's momentum through clinching. But I think Floyd. I always say if Floyd and Logan were the same size, Logan would have gone knocked out because I think that the punches that
Yeah,
Floyd
you too.
yeah Floyd was throwing was very powerful, but it didn't affect Logan as much because he was way heavier. So I'm thinking if you have somebody like that is a professional boxer, that's a legend, that's Logan's height and weight, and Mike is shorter than Logan, but he's like of a similar weight category to him. that fight is much different because it's much more even now, despite Mike Tyson being old. And yes, Mike Tyson is old, but he's not. I mean, he doesn't. He like I don't think Logan could do anything to Mike Tyson to hurt him. I mean, yes, he could punch him hard, and I'm sure he will, and he'll win like a couple of rounds or whatever. But I just don't think Logan would ever be like a really good professional boxer like Mike Tyson or Floyd Mayweather. But if he did, I want that to happen, and I would love to see that because then the internet explodes and suddenly everything's different. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got it right exactly. But like, do you think Mike could beat Logan or not?
Yeah, I think he would just hit him very hard, and I think Logan would go down. I think that it would be Mike toying with him, and then they'd get serious. And I think Logan would handle being in the deep waters, but I think that Mike Tyson's power would just be too much. And if even if he doesn't get knocked out, he'll get outpointed. So
No.
it wouldn't really matter. Anyways.
Uh, That's okay. That's a different perspective. I thought you were gonna say Logan was gonna win. To be honest, to be honest.
Nah, I don't. I just think that, and I think that Logan doesn't like getting hit, but he did prove with the Floyd fight that he can handle getting hit more than he did with KSI. But
Yeah, hundred
I
percent.
think that it's too much of a long shot. I think, and again, even if he didn't get knocked out, he would get outpointed. Like it just he's I think he's one of the best. I think that Logan is better than Jake, and I think he's the best YouTube boxer because he fought a pro boxer before Jake, and he fought the best in Floyd Mayweather. And everyone's all like, "Oh, Floyd just let him survive," and I'm like, "No, he didn't."
Yes, yeah.
That if you
Yes,
look
yeah.
at Floyd's face in the when he was having his breaks, you can't fake emotion, and you could see that he wanted
He
to
was
win.
frustrated.
Yeah,
He
he
was
was
frustrated.
frustrated, and I'm like, Logan Paul, and let's take out YouTuber, just a guy that's been doing this for 3 years, 4 years, should not be making one of the best frustrated. That shouldn't happen. And there were some people that, like Tommy Fury, for example, who, if he fought Floyd Mayweather, he wouldn't do. I'm very confident he wouldn't do as good as Logan. So it's impressive from like a mentality standpoint. It's just I don't know. I think people don't give him enough credit for that fight. Everyone kind of forgets about it, and I'm like, he literally showed off so much more than like even his own brother, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Jake could. I mean, I think Logan can easily beat Jake, in my opinion.
Why do you think that? I mean, I agree with you kind of, but like why?
In my opinion, I think Logan is a much better technical fight. I know a lot of people. Oh, this is a hot bro. Like, if you saw the Tyrone Woodley fight, the only rounds that like he looked good technically was the first 2 or 3 rounds, and that's it. And
Yeah,
after that, he was sloppy with his punches, slapping around. But Logan, like he's consistent. Like he's very technical. He doesn't be technical on one moment and scrappy the next moment. You know what I mean? With KSI, it's the same thing. He's scrappy the whole fight, but he doesn't get technical during the middle of the fight. You know? Do you
yeah.
agree or not?
I think that Logan sometimes will throw like a wild shot every now and again, but I do think that I think Logan the Pauls have a terrible thing with cardio. Both Logan and Jake have terrible cardio, but even in the Floyd fight, Logan was able to get better with his cardio. But I think Jake does good in the opening rounds, and he gets very sloppy and lazy in the later rounds. And that's something I was saying, and everyone was like, "Oh, you're just a hater and you don't know what you're talking about." And then the fight happens, and I'm like, "Everything I thought about you came true, and I know that you're very beatable." Um, and I think Logan's biggest thing is he clinches a lot, and I think that saves him from a lot of damage. But he's using his physical traits to his advantage. Jake doesn't have that either. But yeah, I think that Logan is. I just think Logan's a lot more technical. But not. But I think they're both pretty even in terms of skills. And maybe I'd give more of some. Maybe I'd give the power advantage to Jake. But I do think Logan is. I think Logan would win on points. Whereas I don't think Jake would.
Oh, pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. And so obviously we have Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul, and I want to know. Obviously, you can talk about the press conference, but there wasn't that much. It was just a very dead press conference. But who do you think?
Yeah.
Who do you think will like win? Um,
So before I used to think Jake, I think like Tommy. If you, I just from the Tyrone Woodley fight, I just saw Jake and how he was and what he had. He's talking about JJ's. Oh, he sucks. All he does is throw. But if you see Jake's footwork, it's garbage. It's
Yeah.
so bad. Like,
His
I see he jumps when he punches. Tyron made me miss. He flopped around in the later rounds, and I just think Tommy is a much better technical fighter. But I think Jake has better power in my opinion. Like I would say this over. I think Jake has more power. I think Tommy's gonna win off points.
Yeah, and I mean, his head movement is non-existent. I mean, he's so easy to counter too. Like it's so frustrating when I see these fights and I'm like, he's ready to go down. Like you literally he could get Nate Robinson KO'd by like someone that was very
Exactly.
good, like so easily. I do think Tommy's gonna win, but I mean, and I have a feeling like Jake could still take it. I think it's a pretty even fight. But I do think Tommy could outpoint him, and he's now working with he's going to be working with Tyson Fury and Tyson Fury's coach. And that's like that instantly raises Tommy's chances because that's a great camp to have, and like
Mm-hmm.
and in when Tyson fought Wilder, his coach got in his face and he's like, "Dude, what are you doing? Go and use the jab!" Like he was screaming at him, and I think Tommy needs that. He needs to get like yelled at because like he should have easily knocked out Anthony Taylor. You know what I mean? Like he should have knocked him out, and he was just
Yeah.
I mean, he was a very hard person to fight, but I think everyone agrees that it was not the performance that was wanted. And I think if Tyson Fury's coach was in his corner, he'd be yelling at Tommy like, "Time to wake up! Like, time to do what you know what to do." Because I think
Mm-hmm.
Tommy has everything in his toolbox to beat Jake. It's literally he can do this. He can beat him. It's not an impossibility. But I think it's all about a mentality thing. And I think he doesn't have I think Jake's got a better mentality than Tommy, and so I think that might be the big factor in what will decide this fight is like who's got the better mentality and who wants it more. And I feel like Jake might want it more, but I could be wrong, and I hope I am because I want Tommy to beat him. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be an interesting fight for sure.
Yeah. I think if it's gonna be a close fight, I don't know what the Tyson's dad. I think Tyson Fury's dad said if it was a close, if it's a close fight, Tommy's done. Like he's done out. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be okay if it was a close fight, even if even if it was a close fight, as long as Tommy did well and he showed he improved a lot, I don't think it would be necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Um, so what is your plan? So moving away from YouTube boxing for just a minute, what are your plans for like your YouTube and social media? Do you want to take it to the level of a KSI or do
A
you
hundred percent. Yeah.
you do?
Yeah, you got that on. Like, I'm trying to. So I put. So like, the reason why I was not posting consistently, is because my album. It's so much work, man.
Yeah.
Especially like my schedule is, and it's still like kind of crazy right now. My schedule was mad, even like in the album day. So my schedule was go to school. As soon my school was done, boxing was straight up like as soon as my school was done, it was boxing, and after that, it was music. Going to the studio and then boxing gym again, and then after that, come home, chill with the fam, and then we still work on lyrics, done with my homework. It was legit like you're playing a game, and it was such a mad statement. And of course, my YouTube, I'm gonna be back on, especially because I got two channels. I got one with 632 subs, and the other one with 40 or 37 around there. I got a React channel, my main channel. And my main channel is definitely gonna be a bit more quality, funny, a bit more, like a bit more like relevant to the story. And my React channel is, of course, gonna just be like me reacting to stuff.
Yeah. Like
Yeah, and yeah, you say it. Sorry.
oh no, you can continue talking.
Yeah, you said like I wanted to take my YouTube channel to the next level,
Yeah.
and I have not told this to anyone, but best believe when people hear or see and um yeah, and experience the thing I'm going to do once I'm back on YouTube, they're gonna be like, I got his plan, and it's like a plan where like I definitely have it planned out right now. I definitely have got something where I could do. but it's legit the people. I need to kind of have a bit more people in my vids, and then I could slowly start to, go up, from there.
Yeah, that's you definitely I think work hard, and I think that shows in the content that you produce. It's like did you ever did you sleep at all during these times, or did you just
Uh, some nights, man. I mean, I live for even think think about this. I mean, the soreness because as soon as you get used to it, but boxing, I love the boxing. As soon as I'm out, I'm dead. But like, I gotta remember, like, some nights I actually didn't sleep. Like you said, like for I think for not 2 straight days, but like for I think for yeah, I mean for 2 days I took like naps in between. But there were naps that can cover up like your sleeping schedule. It was some days were hard, man, and I mean I pushed through it, and I think it made the hype. It lived up to the hype the album at least.
yeah, I think hard work definitely does pay off, and I think it's paying off for you a lot now. And it's like, do you plan on producing like another album this year?
Not the so I made this plan. So I'm taking a huge step back from music now. So I released my album because I was focused on music and boxing for a lot now. Now it's low-key actually focused on boxing and YouTube. I mean, okay, wait, I got that mixed up. I was focusing on music, boxing, and school. Okay, and now since I'm done with my album, I'm taking a low-key push back from this. Push back from music, and now I'm focusing on boxing, YouTube, and school. So that's one of the things. So probably the next time you're gonna be hearing me drop a music is probably next year, and the album is gonna be next year. 100. The album is for sure gonna be next year, and like Mars, a single is probably gonna take a while.
Wow, that's crazy. And do you plan on doing YouTube throughout the rest of the year, even while you're doing your music?
Uh, so if I feel like if I could do while I was doing boxing on all these things, I feel like I could do while I was doing it on music.
Yeah,
I mean while I was doing it on boxing. My bad.
yeah, definitely. Did you watch the Canelo fight yesterday?
Such a beautiful one. Yes, I did.
Yes.
I did.
Who are you wanting to win? I'm assuming was it
Oh,
Canelo?
Canelo.
Yeah,
I knew
yeah,
Canelo and I wanted Canelo to win.
yeah.
Caleb, don't get me wrong, sweet person, good boxer, masterpiece of a boxer. But Canelo's Canelo, man. Like, Canelo's gonna find a way to beat you and beat you decisively.
I know, he got really badly knocked out. I was like, wow, because for a while it was like a pretty competitive fight. Obviously, Canelo was winning, but Caleb was he landed a couple of really good shots, and I think he won a couple of rounds even. But I was like, is this gonna end in a knockout, or is this gonna just go to points? And then out of nowhere, boom! It's just like one hit, and he was out. And
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
I saw the
Yeah.
replay, and I was like, I felt that. I could feel that. It looks so painful and accurate, and it's like,
It
wow.
was so good. Yeah, yeah, it was
But
such a clean shot. It
yeah,
was a clean, it was a clean uppercut he landed. I think it started off first with a body shot, and then as he was going
yeah,
down, he landed the uppercut, and then done out.
yeah. It was crazy, and he definitely deserves to be at the level that he's at because he works hard for it. And who do you want him to fight next? Like, if you could pick, who is Canelo gonna
Uh,
fight next?
next, I'm not sure. I think he's what? Wait, he said right now he's the champion of Wait, what weight does he? Middleweight, right?
Middleweight.
Middleweight,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
exactly. So I think he wiped everyone, if I'm not mistaken. But middleweight, yo, I'm trying to think in middleweight. Wait, he fought Billy Joe Sanders. He fought these. I don't know. To be honest, I really don't know anymore. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think he's completely wiped the whole middleweight class and everyone that he wants to fight. But whatever, the next fight for Canelo is gonna make sense because it's Canelo at the end of the day.
You could fight Jake Paul. You could always do that. Easy payday.
Please, Canelo, please do not ever fight. But I want to see Jake suffer. That's okay. Wait, that sounds like I want to. No, I don't want him to die or anything. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm saying that I want to see Jake lose. I want to see how he's gonna treat it. To be honest, I feel like once he loses to after he's done losing Tommy Fury, I feel like he's gonna just show that. Like he's gonna put his Insta name as like the guy that lost to Tommy Fury. Then he's gonna show them well like Bryce did or something like that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: if Canelo fought Jake anytime in the next 5 years, Jake wouldn't lose. He'd be in the hospital. You know what I mean? He would be hospitalized.
Yeah.
He would actually be in bad shape. And it's like, I everyone's like, oh, he's just trolling. He doesn't really want to fight Canelo. And I'm like, yes, he does. He is so delusional and he has yes men all around him, including his coaches, which I can't stand them, that he actually believes he could do it. There's no way he could do it. Like in 5 years,
Exact.
like he would need to be doing this for, I'd say, like at least a 10 years to even think that he could even have the slightest sliver. Maybe in 10 years he'd be semi-competitive, but in like the next 5 years, he will never beat him. He could fight him, but he would never beat him.
Yeah, legit. Trust me when I say this. It's like Jake. With Jake, I think he's just. I swear, Beach. I hate like. I saw this video. Like I don't keep up with Jake, but I saw this video where I think this guy named I'm not sure. He
Yeah,
wanted to fight Jake, and as a coach, I would be like, "Nah, you shouldn't do that. I mean, it's a waste of your time." And he doesn't know what he's doing. I would have said, but BJ, his attitude, his stuff, bro. Like BJ, you could suck, bro. You could go suck it, bro. Like he actually pisses me off. Like that coach. I like the difference between Jake's camp and KS or like Logan. I actually like Milton.
yeah, he's a nice
Milton
guy.
Supreme. He's a chill dude, nice guy,
Yeah,
and he knows how to train. You know, like he knows how to do it. But what freaking Jake's team just butt lickers from legit. That's all they do.
yeah, like Jayon Love, all these people just constantly hype him up. They're not like, I just feel like they're not like, someone told BJ Flores, he was like live on Instagram after the Nate fight, and they were like, I think that someone suggested you should work on Jake's head movement and footwork, and he said, "Oh no, Jake's footwork is amazing. We're not going to work on that. It's You don't know what you're talking about." We see the Tyron Woodley fight, and I'm like, kind of was proven right
Yeah,
there. It's like, does that not prove that they're yes men? Does that not? Is that not proof?
exactly. That's literally what I mean. Like Jake's. Oh my! I couldn't believe the way that he was fighting. He was talking to he was talking to Javante Davis. How dare he ever like? Don't you ever even say his name out of his mouth, please. Pipe down, bro. You ain't on Javante. You can't beat. Like these are the people that he could beat. There's the people that he picks. That's it. If he picks, I mean, fair play. I don't think he picked the wrong guy. Like he picked Tommy Fury, Tyron Woodley. I mean, the people are definitely getting higher competition, but I just think he it's cherry picked fight, you know?
Yeah, his whole thing has been cherry picks up until I'd say Tyron Woodley, but and everyone, and I think what he does is, Ben Askren, for example, MMA fighter, that's just a title to distract people. Because if they actually looked into it, they'd see he's a bum. This is a cherry pick fight. This is an easy. He was the worst striker in the MMA community. He was
Yeah,
he was horrendous. He looked terrible on the scales. It's like, yes, that's a title, but if you look at just the boxing skills, Ben Askren's boxing skills was that of a YouTuber. Same thing with Nate. It's like Tyron Woodley was the first competitive fight, and he lost, and he was this close to losing. This close.
he got cracked.
Yeah, and like Deadly didn't even train, and they went 5 rounds. And I think Deadly could have
He's a,
beaten him if he actually trained hard enough.
I think that too, but Deji is just a different story now.
Yeah, no,
Now at least. Before me, he's just I don't know. Like with him, it's different. Like I love Deji as like a person, as a boxer. Like don't you like that's like low key disrespecting the sport, you know?
yeah, like his work ethic and is terrible. And if you have a terrible work ethic, you're not gonna make it in boxing. Like you're not going
Yeah,
to. And he
he
can't.
got he got blessed that like he literally got blessed that Case has his brother. Like
Yeah,
Jake, like if Case wasn't he would have been nothing on YouTube. Like I'm being harsh right now, but that's true because like, he's lazy, bro. He's lazy.
yeah. He relies on his like family to give him views and stuff. But I think he's a good person, but it's just, you know, his work ethic and everything is not good enough. But if it was, at the level of KSI, he would be as big as him. You know, they would be equals the way Logan and Jake are. But it's just the work ethic isn't there.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
And do you think that Jake will remain undefeated? Or do you think he'll like lose at least once? 'Cause I think he's gonna lose at some point. But
Oh yeah, he's losing 100%. He's gonna lose, and when that day comes, it's it's a new year for us. You know, like
yeah,
God, we saw Jake. You know, like it's gonna be Christmas for us
it's
that
gonna
day.
there's gonna be like babies kissing themselves. So it's gonna be like everyone's gonna go crazy.
I can't wait. Like, literally, that's the day that Jake's team is gonna be. What? We thought he was the greatest. What happened, bro? What happened? That's the day that's gonna happen. And what he does, don't tell us we won. We didn't win. You found he's gonna lose.
He's gonna lose, and it's like he's like, oh, I'm the villain, and I'm like, well, villains always lose at some point. So you're kind of
Yeah,
creating a self fulfilling prophecy there, buddy. And I'm very confident that I think the only two people that could beat, or I'd say three, would be either Tommy Fury, KSI, or Connor. But if we're being honest, I think KSI and Connor have a better chance than Tommy. Like it's gonna I'm very
yeah,
confident it's gonna be one of those three guys is gonna beat him and like knock him out cold.
yeah. I think, to be honest, I'll be if Connor and Jake's fight. I don't think Connor's knocking him out. Like it's a hot take, but I don't think. I think Connor's gonna win unanimously, but I don't think he's gonna eat. I think Jake has. Okay, this is okay. People hate me. I hate. I don't like Jake. I'm not saying I like. I think Jake just. I think Jake has a better gas tank in my opinion than Connor.
Well, they both have.
Okay,
I think they both have terrible gas tanks. They
yeah,
both
I
gas
care, but
out
I shouldn't
after.
say that.
Yeah,
You
they
know.
both gas out after the first 3 rounds. Like they both get really
Yeah,
sloppy.
yeah, yeah. I
So,
shouldn't say that. Yeah,
and
yeah.
I do think Connor. I get your point about Connor might not knock him out because there's a big weight difference between them. So he's got a disadvantage there. But yeah,
Yeah.
and what do you like? So besides social media and YouTube and all that stuff, is that like your core thing, like you boxing and social media, or is there like anything else you like do or like want to do in the future?
So I definitely want to play. I think. I mean, right now I'm busy already, but like maybe in the future, near future, definitely want to act in some few Netflix shows, if you know what I mean. Just like a chill type of Netflix show that I could act. I mean, I've never gotten into acting. Like there
Oh
was
yeah,
never something crossed my mind, but
yeah,
like it would be dope to like tell like your kids or tell someone, oh, I acted in like a Netflix show, you know?
yeah,
Okay, that sounds.
definitely.
Now I think about it, that's just kind of sad. Okay, but like you know what I mean,
Yeah.
right?
I've actually acted in stuff before, not professionally, like not like in anything
Oh,
like but I've done it like in I do like theater productions and
it's
stuff like
dope.
that, which is and it's honestly really fun. I mean, it's obviously that's different from like being acting on like the screen and stuff, but you can definitely get into it. It's a lot of fun. It's stressful though, especially if you're doing something and there's
Yeah,
a
yeah, I
time
heard it.
for
I
it.
mean, I've done. Trust me. I've for Christmas stuff like that, right? We go to church and we supposed to like skit out, like skits
Yeah.
about like, and then it's it's definitely stress. Like one time, I literally forgot my lines, and I was like, I looked at my, like my teacher, like the girl that taught me like to act and like that. I was like,
Yeah.
what do I do? Like legit, and everyone started laughing because not like making fun of me, just the way I said it. Like I was like, like
Yeah. I was in a show this past month and one of the lines was smell the air and listen to the birds and I said smell the birds and I was like oh no and then people were telling me afterwards we were trying to keep in our laughter because you said smell the birds and I was like I can only do so much. It was
This-
it was a moment. So yeah, I'm trying to think about other things to ask you because I mean, you just so your boxing tournaments this month, right?
I'm pretty sure. Like I'm pretty sure that's what coach said. But if I don't find an opponent, there's always the next time. But right now, yeah, probably this month. Probably this month.
What
A
weight
high
class?
chance at least.
What weight class are you in
Right now, what do you mean? Like in, just like
in
do you want me to say
boxing?
like lightweight, middleweight,
Yeah,
like
like yeah,
cruiser,
you could
like
say yeah, you could say that.
Oh, like I think I'm a lightweight. If I'm not mistaken, like, lightweight, definitely lightweight.
Yeah.
I'm a lightweight.
Like, how tall are you?
How old?
No, how tall?
I think I'm like, I actually don't know. But I'm going to the doctors like to like sign up for the medical things stuff like that for like boxing.
Yeah, I'm
That's
tiny.
it. So I'm on.
I'm tiny. I'm like under. I'm like a under 5'5". I'm very short.
Oh, don't worry, don't worry, bro. You know.
Yeah. I don't really care about my height though because I can if there's ever any like emergencies or whatever, I have an easy way to sneak out because I'm so small. I can go into small
Yeah, yeah,
places.
yeah, yeah,
It's
for
like
sure, for
there's always an advantage to being short.
sure. Yeah.
So like have you ever like collabed with any like big YouTubers before? Or are you more like
S-
in your own
Oh,
lane?
so oh, sorry. So I think I have. I don't know if it's a collab, but I did something with Adam Solly. Gave me a shout out. He gave me a shout out. So Adam Solly. I don't know if you know Ryan Swayze. Do you know him?
Yeah, I've heard that name before. He's a
Yeah, yeah,
YouTuber, right?
yeah. He's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
YouTuber. He has like 900K, I think. Um, Alex Marlowe, Shrek Ninja. Those guys.
Yeah.
With him too. But mate, like poppin', probably Adam Solly. Yeah.
Wow.
Do you know Adam? Do you know Adam?
I mean, I don't know him personally. I don't. Adam Sala and Slim are just very annoying. They annoy me because they think they're the best and they're fighting like opponents that are even worse than Jake's opponents. And it's like
Yeah, 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 100%.
let's get Gib to fight Slim just so we can shut up Slim because Gib would easily, I think, destroy Slim. Maybe not knock him out, but he would, he would actually get a tough
Yo,
fight.
this is not a hot take, but I think okay, wait. I think this is not a hot take, but the next thing I will say is probably a hot take. But you know how I think Adam Zolli is the best technical fighter in the whole YouTube scene, hands down. I don't care what anyone says. The way that he moves around, I think is good, man. Like flipping, diving, and I love the way that how technical he is. I like that, but and the Waleed fight didn't show anything. Like I was like, Adam, this is not the way. Like Adam is such a counterpuncher. Like he's relaxed. But in the Waleed Sharks fight, if Adam fought less emotionally and more like boxing,
Yeah.
he would have easily wiped out Waleed. But if I'm more emotionally, but I would say, in my opinion, I know Andre. I know how you feel about this, but I think Slim can be. I think he's gonna be in his own gear. I think a lot of people is gonna hate me for it. But I love both guys. Like I love both of them. It's just like I think some actually has power. I feel like I don't know how you feel about this. Tell me.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I think that Slim does have enough. I think he could, maybe knock down Gib once, but I think, when I don't know who he last fought, but I know it was like last month. And when Slim got hit with some good punches,
Oh yeah, he did
he
freak out.
didn't do well he didn't react to them well at all.
Yeah,
He went
you're
back.
right.
He was dazed. Gib is constant pressure. He's got great jabs. He does body shots. Slim would, I think, falter in those deep waters, in my opinion. Isn't
You know
it?
what? You're kind of right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I definitely see like how it could go down now.
Is
Like
it
you
like an
said, it.
impossibility that Slim could knock out?
Some could.
No,
I
he could, but
no,
I
no. I
don't
don't
think
think he
so.
could knock you out. I don't think he's gonna knock. I don't think Slim is gonna knock Gib out. I think Slim might daze
Yeah.
Elise on Gib. I don't think Sim. I don't think Gib is getting dropped or knocked out. I think Gib might get
Yeah.
cracked with a big shot but not fall. You know?
And it's like Gib lost in what I would say is the second most embarrassing way
Yeah.
to get defeat after Nate, and he's felt much more power with Jake, for example. And it's like, Slim's never had a competitive fight. And if he
Um,
fought Gib, it would be the biggest fight of his career in front of probably the most people. There'd be the most pressure. And and the same thing I say this with Jake, and it kind of got proven with the Town fight is, you have all these easy opponents and you look so good, and then you fight someone that's half decent, and suddenly everyone thinks you are a fraud or a phony, or they look lesser on you, and you put on a performance that's not great. That's why I like KSI's choice of opponents, because
yeah.
he fought Joe Weller, but then after that was like Logan, and then Logan was a much bigger dude, and then let's do 10-ounce gloves, no headgear. Like he actively wants to
Yeah.
find hard people, and he doesn't look as good, and he doesn't Like he's not like looking as good because if he could easily have fought in someone way easier and looked better, but he chooses not to. And I respect and appreciate that more than, oh, let's just find these easy opponents so I can look really amazing.
Yeah.
And but then eventually it'll catch up to you, and then it's yeah. So I do think that Slim's boxing career, once he fights someone good, will be very short in the long run.
Yeah.
So did you happen to watch the stream that I did with like Strike and Alex and Fox and all those people?
Oh, was it for the Tyrone Woodley
Yeah,
fight, if I'm not mistaken?
we did a
Yeah.
prediction video, and then we did like a group reaction to the fight. Um,
I definitely saw that.
yeah,
Yo, you guys gotta get me on one of those, bro. I can't for the next one, bro. I'm gonna think of like if of course like we have to all have time, but bro, that talking with y'all like looks like mad fun, you know, especially yo, Fox the Jeep.
he's
Yo, I'm a fan. I like he follows me and stuff like that. But bro, his content is mad
yeah
funny, bro.
he's a very funny guy and like super
Jack,
nice.
Bread Batch, you scared of Fox the Jeep? That's all I'm gonna say, bro.
Yeah,
Yo, next, yo, if you guys are doing something for the Tommy Fury fight or
yeah.
something like that, hit me up. I could like come on some, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we haven't really done anything since August, but I heavily enjoyed doing that group reaction because all of us were kind of commentary channels. Um, and I
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of people probably don't think this because I have less subs than like I have less than 300. And like Fox and Alex and Strike all have like 1,000 plus. But I was posting before. I don't know about Fox, but I know I was posting videos on this before Alex and Strike was. Strike started and Alex started like in this year, and I was covering it since last summer, or like since the Jake and Nate fight. So, or even actually during the Jake and Gibb fight too. So I've been covering it for like a long time. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to. That was a fun fact.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit like I love the group that look we have like Strike Ninja Fox. G like it's a bit more like us, but like for me it's kind of hard to fit. Like I'm like that guy like that goes through everything. Oh, you see a boxer? Ah, I'm right. Music, I'm right here. A pocket, I'm right. You know, like I'm going like everywhere in direction. And people might get some way about it, but like that's just me. But that stream was a fun and like funny stream, you know.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely a lot of fun. And I don't know if we're gonna do like another one for the Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury fight because like
Mm-hmm.
all of us been super busy, and if you have noticed, Strike isn't posting as much as he used to.
Wait,
Um
why is that? Why is that? Is he good? Is
oh
he
no, like
like?
yeah, he's just been very busy. And he said this publicly too, I think, but he's not like super invested in YouTube boxing as much. And like Alex, even Fox, they've been posting either less or they're not posting on YouTube boxing anymore. And I think everyone, I feel like that was in the group kind of was like, this is kind of not as interesting as it was over the past year. So everyone kind of,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at my channel, from like the past 2 months, I've been doing nothing but stuff that's not been boxing. Like I mean, I've done a few boxing videos here and there, but a lot of it's been on like more like theater stuff and entertainment, talking about entertainment than talking about boxing. And I just think that's because I feel that it's not as interesting as it used to be. Which is and I'm okay with that because I feel like I covered it for like a year and a half and I was nothing but that. So I'm kind of glad that I have a little bit of a break to talk about stuff that I'm a little bit more interested in.
Yeah, that's dope. Like Ume is such like a like my fan base. I like to like aka like my fam. Like I call them like I love them, bro.
Yeah.
But like my fan base is more like rotated either my music or boxing. Like, if I, for example, if I just put like the album for instance, I didn't really know it was gonna do that well for instance. Like I think I got like 90 views in less than 24 hours. I was like, yo, or like even I think 17 hours. I'm not sure, but it did well, man. Like I was surprised. I was like, and with even boxing, I dropped my I mean, I had to take it down because my coach told me a few stuff about swag and leaking stuff,
Yeah.
and I privatized that real quick, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I privatized that, but like it did what it got like 90 views in like an hour or something. Yo, it did really well, you know. And it's like if you have like a fan base like that loves like those type of content, don't just upload that constantly. If like just like upload some other stuff and then come back with it so they get hyped for it, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think that I wanted to go away for a little bit, YouTube boxing, just because uh I think it's getting a little stale. And I think it could be not stale, but it needs to stop for a minute because it's just like we've been here before, we've played this dance, and yeah. So I don't know if you've watched any of my videos, but do you know a guy
I did.
called The Realist, like a UK YouTuber?
Oh, I know him, yeah. Oh, I think this guy with green headphones and a black hat,
Yeah,
right? If I'm
so
not yeah, yeah.
if you didn't know, I have made I have a I had I don't really have it right now, but I used to have like a bit of a rivalry with him. And like I made a diss track on him. I made multiple
No
videos on him.
way.
Yeah, like I it was called Tunnel Vision, and it got a lot of like I got a lot of hate for it, but it's kind of I hate using this example, but it is kind of like the Jake Paul strategy where um people as long as people are talking about me, that's helping me more than it's hurting me, because on his videos they'd be like talking about me, and but people would be watching my videos more, and I'm like, you're giving me what I want, and that's attention, and that's views, and that's subscribers, and that's hate and love and all that stuff. And so I kind of played chess with people,
Yeah.
and no one ever really figured that out. But I was very passionate about disproving him, because he definitely was biased towards KSI, and I think he really liked Jake Paul more than he wanted to admit. But even he stopped doing YouTube boxing stuff. But that was a whole rivalry and section of my channel that took up a lot of last year.
Like, bro, like, people need to know this. Diss track is such a good way to get pop. Like, I mean, there's diss tracks on Ryan Tways, and that's the way that I found him on 900K. So I was like, that's my first time. I felt some type of way. Good content for days, though. Such good content. Because they get attached. You're like, oh, they got beef. But it's kind of childish because they got beef for this, but you're still keeping up because at the end of the day, like you gotta attract, like that's like what people like. They like beef, they like drama. That's what people are attached to, you know?
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, beef and drama sells. Like people love it. And so I thought this was a perfect opportunity. And I tried to debate him so many times, and he never wanted to. So he still is ducking me, I guess you could say, but I think he's kind of moved
Oh,
on
you
from
guys are
that.
gonna box? You wanted to box
No,
him?
no, 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 definitely. He's like huge compared to me. I want to do like a conversational debate on YouTube
Yeah.
talking about KSI and Jake Paul. Actually, there was a lot of people that wanted to see me and him box, and I was like, guys, you don't understand. It's like it's like say I'm Floyd Mayweather and he's Logan Paul. Like he's huge. And I'm like this tiny guy. So I did say, if someone offers me $1 million, I will do it. But that's obviously not going to happen, so it will never happen. So I don't have to worry about that. If someone did give me $1 million, then I do it, and I'd be very concerned for my health. But you know, it's $1 million.
Yeah, I mean,
Um, but yeah, that was an interesting chapter in my YouTube experience. Um, and I want to take this YouTube thing farther, like you do too. Like I actually did have a podcast, but I only did like one episode on it. And that's mainly because I didn't know how it worked. But now I do this on my own channel, so it's not like a separate thing, but it's on my channel.
yeah, I think it's sometimes so stressful because your main channel could be doing so well, and then you have like a podcast or a reaction channel that's legit doing trash. Like, for example, my reaction channel, and I mean, it's good now, of course, but like, it used to get bad views. I was like, I'm gonna back off of this. And then when I started posting like what people wanted, I was like, yo, this is kind of good now, you know?
Yeah. Definitely, I definitely agree with that. But at the same time, I think you need to also post what you want to, even if it gets low views. And I do that sometimes too. Like I'm like, this thing isn't gonna get any attention, but I made it and I'm proud of it, so I'm gonna put it out.
Oh,
What was that?
When I was like, oh, oh, that's dope.
Yeah. Um, and it's do you so you have 650 subscribers or something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Do you
around there.
how many subscribers do you think you'll get by the end of this year? Or like how much do you
Eh,
hope for?
So I think by the end of I think I could get 700, 7. I think by the end of the I'll get 700. Is the reason like I've not been gaining or something. My views has been going good, but like the reason I've not been gaining is because I'm not consistent with myself. And I'm like, trust me, 2022, like I'm gonna be back, but like I've not been consistent enough to get more subs. I was getting like 400 subs, 500, like around, good, like good subs, but I think 700 is probably gonna be by the end of the year, and then from there I could probably. I think next year I might go for 1,000 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, my subscribers are so weird. Like, I'll get like 10 new subscribers and then I'll get nothing for like a couple months. So I don't know how many things I'll get with the I think I'll get to 300 by the end of the year though. That's only 10
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
subscribers. That's
definitely.
not that much. Um so
Maybe today, maybe today. Maybe you could get.
maybe
Maybe if after this comes out, maybe you could get 10 more. Like
that'd be amazing. So have you ever had a times when you have felt like giving up on social media, or YouTube, or any of this stuff because you felt it's too hard, or you're not getting the views and the attention and all that stuff that you wanted, or has it just been kind of like an easy way to get over all that stuff?
Oh, this is. I just gotta say, like, oh my jeez, like, I taken a break for a year, like, but I like it was like I started this like way before. I think 2017, originally 4 years ago. But like, I wasn't taking it serious. I didn't know anything. I was just posting videos without like any context behind it, and I was like, I'm done. Like, I don't even like this anymore. But
Yeah.
that was when I was like freaking 10 or something. I didn't even know
Yeah.
what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And then I left for a year, and I came back. I came back. I know I left for like 3 or 2 years, and then when I was 12, if I'm not mistaken, I started again. I started getting popped in. People liked my content, and from there it was good.
Wow, that's great. And you do so much. Do you ever feel like you have burnout, or like, you
Uh,
want to give
I,
up?
as I'm talking, I legit okay. This sounds so okay. This legit feels like I promise you, I'm not. I'm not trying to call. I legit could think. Andre, you understand? Like, think about it. Like, I I'm legit okay. This is gonna sound like I'm not gonna even use the term. I'm legit overworking, if you know what I'm saying. I'm
Oh
legit
yeah.
sick because of
Yeah.
that's why I said like my
Yeah.
voice something that don't
Yeah.
mind
Yeah.
them like
Yeah.
that. And if you heard that, I've been like constantly doing that a lot. So I'm legit sick. So it sounds so weird, but think of like I think you would understand this out of everyone here. Under like think of like my schedule is like and it's still
Yeah.
my like boxing album, and I just dropped the album,
Yeah.
and I was sick like the day before, so like I'm feeling a bit better now. But like yeah, overworking definitely don't do it. It's bad for your body.
Yeah. Like I definitely understand what you're going through, and I think sometimes often I think people that are not like our age or whatever think, oh, they just post a YouTube video. How much work is that? It's like I take this like as if super seriously, like as if this is my job almost, because if you work hard enough for this, you could get to the point where you're making millions of dollars, or you're super huge or famous or whatever. And that's kind of the motivation part. So it's like I put effort into editing and coming up with the ideas and everything. And it's like, I remember sophomore year, I would come home and I do nothing but do content from like the time I got home until like you know, nighttime, and I just be posting and editing and constantly putting out stuff. I get low views, but I just kept on going because I was like, it will eventually pay off, and it has in a lot of ways, especially with meeting Strike Ninja and Alex, and not only becoming friends with them, but then creating content with them and gaining um, exposure through them as well. So I always say YouTube is a long term game and not like a short term game. Like you're not going to get instant gratification. It's like a long term gratification. But if it will pay off in the end.
Yeah, exactly, 100%, 100%.
Yeah, it's like I mean, I don't do boxing or whatever, but I do like theater and everything. It's like I would have to memorize my lines and film content and do, schoolwork and everything. Like, you've seen the Wilder versus Fury fights, right?
Yeah, 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 I've seen that
You know how
actually.
Deontay Wilder was like, like in the second fight and even in the third fight was like kind of wobbling around and was like all like shaky on his legs. That's how I felt every day for the past like 2 months. Like just absolutely like wanting to pass out from exhaustion. But it's weird that I like the, I guess, grind of doing stuff all the time. You know what I mean? Like it obviously is, you want to break and everything, but I feel like I kind of like it because it keeps you like focused and on a mission and like, it all pays off and it's all like stuff that is going to be big in your future or just now in the present.
Yeah, 100%. I think I completely agree with you, bro.
Yeah, and it's I think I think you and me, I would say both of us, especially you, have an amazing work ethic, and
Thanks, bro. I actually appreciate
I think
that,
that's
bro.
why. Yeah, you're welcome. I think that's why like people like me, you, Strike, Alex, if we all continue to do what we're doing, I only see us going forward and not going backwards. Like
Yeah, 100%. Like that's what I mean. Like we're constantly. A lot of people, even like in my school. No offense to anyone that's hearing this, but in my school, there's certain people. I'm not even gonna say anyone. I'm not gonna name drop because
yeah,
like, and those people, like yo, like they're such supportive. I'm like in my head, I'm like yo, please. Like, they always. I'm not gonna say like they ask me sometimes. They're like, "Yo, why are you putting so much?" I'm like, "Yo, that's like, yo." I'm always. I feel like no offense, but I think I'm on a different level. Like I'm not saying I'm like this. God, I'm not saying that. I just think
I feel the
like
same way. Yeah,
if I could like deal with the content pressure of boxing, YouTube, music, but all of that, I don't need to be worrying about your small business. Keep it to
yeah,
yourself.
yeah, definitely. Like I was like, it was like the summertime, and I was like, I'm, participating in live streams and videos that thousands of people are watching. I'm getting tons of new subscribers. I'm being with some big content creators and um, doing all this stuff. And I just feel like I'm at a different level to people at my school. And that's not to say that I'm like this god or whatever, but it's just like I'm doing stuff that no one else is doing at like same
That's
thing,
the
same
word.
thing with
Like
you. Like no one else in your school, I think, is doing music, is doing an album, is
or
in
boxing.
boxing, it
You're
has hundreds
exactly
of
right. You got that
subscribers.
on point. Like, please don't miss me with that BS. Don't ever say like I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say anymore, but like don't you ever say like I'm on the same level as someone else when I'm putting 10 times more effort when I'm actually showing my stuff and people are criticizing me for it, right? So I don't want to hear none of that stuff where you think necessarily someone's better. That's not even working hard as me doing it. So please pipe down a bit. You know what I mean?
I feel the exact same way. It's like I'm not better than other people. I'm just working hard and I'm doing stuff that
Ex-
you're not doing. And so
exactly.
that's why I don't like, when I'm like at school and I'm like, I'm just like, I feel like I almost like don't need to be there sometimes because like I'm doing all of the, I don't know if you feel the same way, but I feel like I'm like doing stuff that, is bigger than like doing a math assignment, you know what I mean? Like it's I'm put like I when I
Yeah,
did that
100%.
stream in August, it was like this is so much bigger than school, and I'm not saying don't go to school. It's important.
No, yeah, of course.
It's
It's
good,
important, man. Like
but it's
school is
like
important.
but there were
But
certain
if you
points.
love something,
Yeah,
pursue that right away. If you love something, pursue that right away.
yeah.
Like I still go to school. Don't I actually like school? Studying is like I like that. But like if you like something, make sure you pursue that dream. Like as a young age, so you get better at it over time.
I think a lot of people like want to make YouTube channels. I see people want it, but they don't put in the effort or they don't know how to edit, so they just give up. You know what I mean? Like some people
Yeah,
could, I think, do their dreams, especially people our age, but they don't want to put in the work ethic. And that's why I know that I will succeed in everything I do is because I work hard with everything I do, YouTube, theater, school, and I don't know if I work hard and I know I did, it's not I'm
yeah,
only
yeah.
gonna have success. But I think a lot of people don't understand that or they try to take shortcuts.
Yeah, bro, that's how I feel like. Oh, Andre, I have to tell you something. So think
Yeah,
about this, like me dropping an album like
yeah,
at this young of an age, and people. I'm gonna be honest, people. At least I remember when I made those trash diss tracks when I was like 8 or 7. Like, yo, everyone was like roasting me. Delete this. Nah, you can't do this. Some of my own family friends were like, you suck. Bro, and then when I started to improve and getting better at each things I've done, and still, I'm not even on my max yet, and still keep improving them, they can't say anything. They're like, yo, I'm your day one. I've been, nah, you don't say your day one because you're not. I'm talking about certain people around me say that I'm like, please don't, in my head, like, nah, you ain't a day one. Because I remember you literally stop with your music, stop with this, stop with that, stop with everything I've done. Because, bro, straight up, I mean, I
Mm.
knew they're going to be like, this guy, I knew I was going to get better eventually because I put in that work, I've put
Yeah.
in that work no matter what. And then I did, and now I can hear them. That's legit how it works.
Yeah, and I think when you find success, you find other successful people, but those are the ones that are the real ones. You know what I mean? Like Strike is someone that, and I don't, you don't know this guy, but his name is Angel, and he's not really a YouTuber, but like those are two guys that are like really solid and like support me, and they're like those aren't the fake ones. Like they're also doing what I'm doing too, and so I think you find the real people through success.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I so much phonies, like fake and fake people like try to nice me. I mean, this is a journey, man, and that's why I think
Yeah.
YouTubers or I mean boxers, man, boxers too, man, like have one of the best mentalities, and I think we're always like a level, always ahead of people, one step ahead of people. Sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely like. I think of Tyson Fury getting knocked down in the first fight, and I'm like, that man went through so much, and he still got back up. So I think I can stay up another hour to study or to go over my lines, or like for you, like do your music or whatever. It's like he got me through. I just thought about that moment, and that got me through like the entire like this past 2 months because I'm like if he can get up from that, like I just have to go and do stuff like, but it's mental. It's not like I have to get up
Um,
from getting knocked down in front of thousands of people. So I know that was a weird off topic thing, but he definitely like
yeah,
inspires me, I think, a lot sometimes.
100%. Because I legit like sometimes I literally wanted to cry or talk. No, okay, I can't. Like I wanted to cry because it was sometimes it was like not making me mad, but making me like, oh, why can I not get this?
Yeah,
Why can I
yeah,
not get this head movement right? Why can I not slip this way? Why am I doing so much stuff? But I gotta realize like boxing is a long sport. It's a long sport. Once you can master it right away, it's gonna take some time and time, and that's why there's practice for a reason.
yeah, definitely. And I think, do you want to be a boxer like when you're like older, or
Yeah, yeah,
like
100%,
okay,
100%. Boxer, YouTuber, and maybe I mean, engineer as well. That's gonna be like engineering is probably gonna be my main thing,
yeah,
and boxing as well. You know what I mean?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I want to go to. I might go to college next year, but I want to do like I want to continue to do YouTube and social media stuff because I really enjoy that, and I think it could take me far. But I I want to like direct like movies and TV shows and be writing and behind the scenes of like entertainment stuff.
Mhm.
As like that's what I've always wanted to do since I was like super little. Um, so yeah, I
And you
think.
know what, legit, if you like, I mean, I know you're a hard worker, but if you want that, you just gotta chase that after.
Oh yeah, totally. I
Gotta
actually
chase it. Yeah.
before COVID started, I started my own theater company in my
And
where I grew up, where I am, and I got people. We were gonna do a show, and then COVID happened. But like I accomplished my dream, and that's like so many people couldn't say that they did that. Like I didn't go through the whole thing because of COVID, but like I did what I've always
but
wanted
you
to
did
do.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
and
did
I
it.
was like, and I'm not even 18 years old yet. Like I'm not even like an adult, and I've already done my dream essentially. And I put in the hard work. I was doing everything on my own. I was marketing. I was coming up with the songs. I was reaching out to people and pitching and doing all these things that I think a lot of people my age wouldn't know how to do. But I think even then, it's like you can do that. It's just you have to have the work ethic for that. And I think I just had that in me at that point. So it's really just all about how hard you work, I think.
Yeah, you're totally right. You're totally right.
So yeah, I mean, I thought this was a great conversation. Is there anything else you want to
100%.
say, or is
Uh, is it okay if I promote some of the stuffs, or
yeah,
like
definitely,
is
yeah,
that
definitely,
fine?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
so if you guys want to make sure, I promise y'all you're gonna enjoy this album. Make sure you guys get keep on playing it on SoundCloud. Or keep on watching it and listening to it on YouTube, and make sure you sub to Suriya HM, and keep up with boxing stuff and stuff, boxing, and if you guys want to see live stream boxing on my amateur tournament, make sure you guys come to my YouTube channel. And also a big shout out to Andre for making me for inviting me on
yeah.
this interview and making me come on this interview. And also a big shout out to Cash Six, Sharif aka for the beats and stuff like that. And yeah, you know.
Yeah, that's great. So, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, sub, and comment. And make sure to subscribe to his channel, which is going to be in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Take care.
That was a